All right, what's up everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some big Nintendo Switch 2 updates, including Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is a big one for the Switch 2. There's been some issues. Nintendo has acknowledged them. We're going to get into what's happening and what you can expect, plus more Switch 2 rumors, some big AAA games, and other stuff to talk about. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. All right, let's start off with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. This has been a huge boost to the Nintendo Switch 2 profile because everyone knows if you play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch 1, it is a bit crusty at times. That resolution is around 360p. Portable mode, docked, it's better, but there's still some issues. Frame rate, 30 FPS with some dips. So the Switch 2 edition of this game was definitely much appreciated, but there's been some issues here, and Nintendo and Monolith Soft have confirmed that they are aware of a couple of different bugs reported in the community in the recently released Switch 2 edition of the game. Now, the company has outlined some of the issues found and are in the midst of releasing a patch to fix those said issues. Nintendo did apologize to the fans and said they appreciate their patience while the issues are fixed. Now, here's what they said. This was machine translation, so just keep that in mind. And it says, quote, "We have received multiple reports regarding Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, where the number of accessory equipment slots decreases from 3 to 2. After investigating, we have confirmed that this issue occurs under the following conditions. After sharing advanced new game, you used the accessory expansion kit, which can be obtained by exchanging bonus EXP with the battle bard who appears in the field, increasing the accessory slots to 3. When you scan the amiibo via system, amiibo in the menu, and receive the bonus WP reward. The issue does not occur if you receive any reward other than bonus WP. The accessory that was equipped in the now hidden third slot is not lost." Now, we have confirmed another issue, which is the Battle BMG background music plays at a lower volume than intended. We are currently preparing an update to fix both of these issues. We'll provide another announcement as soon as the release date for the update has been decided. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your patience. And yeah, it's one of those things to where it kind of happens quite a bit, especially when you have these dynamic games like Xenoblade that have a ton of different things, and at any point any one thing can break even after you've tested everything over and over and over. We've known about these Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Switch 2 editions for a while now, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo was extensively testing everything with these, and they still had some issues because of certain conditions that maybe just just didn't happen in their testing. So it's unfortunate, but at least they've acknowledged it and they're preparing a patch. So keep that in mind, guys. Be careful to not do the different stuff in there, and hopefully you don't have any of the issues. Now, I've tested it out myself, and I do think it's a huge improvement. Just the resolution and the frame rate alone is worth the price of admission of $10. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Switch 2 Edition Physical Edition is coming out later this year in October, so if you want to wait for that, it might come complete on cartridge with the update here, so we're going to have to wait for that. But if you want to wait, you can get it. If not, you can pick it up. I already have the game physical. I actually have 2 copies. I already had a digital copy, and then I have a physical copy when it comes to like the special edition. So I already have all that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to pick that one up since I already have a physical copy and now I have this digital update. But for those who want everything complete on cartridge, it's going to be there for you. And I'm glad that Nintendo acknowledged these bugs and getting them fixed as soon as possible. But moving on to the next topic here, we're going to discuss what's going on with Capcom and Monster Hunter Wilds, because it looks like we have some data mined tech specs and it's looking good for the latest Monster Hunter game to make it over to Nintendo's platform. So data miners have been checking the most recent update for Monster Hunter Wilds, trying to glean some information about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game, and by the looks of it, Monster Hunter Wilds on the Nintendo Switch 2 runs at a dynamic resolution in both docked mode and handheld. Docked can run between 1080p and 1440p, and handheld mode can run between 720p and 864p, with the frame rate being roughly 30 to 40 FPS. Monster Hunter Wilds performance hasn't been the best on any platform, so hopefully the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game is very well optimized come its release. So I know that they've released some more optimizations for PlayStation and Xbox. There was an issue with the PC version, or some of them, it was kind of like checking some of the other stuff that was happening. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I know it's not the best, but I know that I think PS5 Pro has been a pretty good experience, and they have released some updates to help out on all platforms. Now, if they can get 30 to 40 FPS at 1080p to 1440p docked and around 720p to 8 something p portable, that's going to be a pretty good experience. And with VRR, it could be a nice portable experience to play anywhere that you want. Monster Hunter is almost built for like portable play. The way that you have to grind for certain things and getting different requirements and all the different quests that are in the game and all the different post-release content, that type of stuff, it just makes it to where having a portable version of it is really good. So I'm hoping that this is a good version of Monster Hunter. Now, I haven't played too much of it on PlayStation 5 or anything like that. I knew that there would be a Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter fan either, so it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I kind of just want to wait when it comes down to that. They did release a demo and a lower price of the game, so more and more people can pick it up if you want on other platforms. We don't have pricing or anything like that yet for the Switch 2 version of the game, but when it comes to these data mines, if you're wondering how trustworthy this is, it was data mined that the Switch 2 version of the game was even going to be a thing in the first place. That was also in the same data mine that a lot of these same data miners found out, and then we got a Switch 2 version confirmed. So I'm pretty sure this information that they're putting out here is probably fairly accurate to what we're going to actually get. And if you look at all of Capcom's games that they've released so far on the Switch 2, these have been some of the better big AAA titles when it comes to optimization. Capcom is probably at the top because they have that RE engine, and that RE engine is just so good across a broad range of platforms. If you have a PS5 Pro, it's incredible. If you have a Nintendo Switch 2, it's really good considering the hardware difference and the pricing and all of that. So I do have faith that Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be decent enough on the Nintendo Switch 2, considering Capcom's track record, and we've got other big games like Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out and stuff that should run pretty good. Street Fighter was great, Resident Evil was really good, Pragmata, so they've been on a roll with the Switch 2 this year, and I fully expect maybe Monster Hunter Wilds to be shown off more information when it comes to Switch 2 version this year, then maybe it launches sometime early next year. But we've got games that are going to be launching this year, and we got to talk about that because Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault, we've got a release date for this highly anticipated rogue indie game. So Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault will finally leave early access and launch for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam and Microsoft Store on September 2nd. Publisher 11-Bit Studios and developer Digital Sun announced. It will also be available via Game Pass. A demo is now available for all platforms, so I highly recommend checking out the Moonlighter demo if you're interested in these type of games and you like what you see. Physical editions of the game will follow on PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 2 via PC distributor Silver Lining Interactive on November 13th. And that's a real on-cart physical from what I can see here. Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault first launched in early access for PC on November 19th, 2025. Here's a little bit more information on the version 1.0 release via 11-Bit Studios. With the arrival of version 1.0, Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault brings its main story to a satisfying conclusion while introducing new weapons, armor, and the bomb path, a combat ability that causes enemies to explode after taking enough hits, damaging those nearby. Will's shop also reached its final level, unlocking additional boblet slots, new cosmetic options, and even more room to make the Tresna truly feel like home. For players eager to continue the adventure, the Infinite Endless Vault offers a new post-game challenge, an ever-escalating gauntlet of gold-filled runs designed to test even the most seasoned merchants. And for the truly fearless, hardcore mode raises the stakes to their highest level. Fail in a dungeon, and it's back to the very beginning. In commemoration of the release date announcement, the original Moonlighter is also free to claim for PC via Steam from today till August 9th. So get on that if you want the free copy of Moonlighter 1. And yeah, these are the rogue type games that are always so fun to play. But for me, man, the dying and going back to the beginning is something that I'm just not super fond of at this point. But the gameplay is always top notch. I think I played the first Moonlighter. I thought that it was pretty good. Moonlighter 2 looks like it's a lot better. They've had a lot of time to tweak the game, add new things in, and just really just perfect the formula. And this game does have like an ending, it does have a story, it does have all that, plus it has the rogue stuff built in. So it's one of the more complete rogue experiences out there. So I'll probably try out the demo, see what I think. Maybe I'll get into it on the Switch too. I think a full physical version of the game is great, and that would be awesome for people that want to pick that up on Nintendo Switch 2 or the PlayStation 5. So what do you guys think about Moonlighter? I think it's pretty cool that they're bringing this one. Finally, we got a release date and everything. But we also need to go over a rumored release date for a big AAA title on the Nintendo Switch 2. This is a game that's been talked about before, and that's Diablo 4 for the Switch 2. And the rumor here, which I've been covering this quite a bit, so if you've been on the channel, I've made, I think, like 2 or 3 videos on Diablo 4, but it looks like we have more solid information that it will be happening this September. So the rumor comes from Bill Kuhn, who has a super accurate track record with leaks. This person seems to have early information to retailers when it comes to what games are coming. And Bill Kuhn reports that Diablo 4 is heading to Nintendo Switch 2 on either September 15th or September 18th. The game will be sold at retail, but as a code in a box. Of course, it will be available on the Nintendo eShop as well. Pricing is set at $69.99. Now, it is possible that Diablo 4 could be announced at an event like Gamescom, which is happening at the end of the month. However, that's speculation for the time being. Diablo 4 has been rumored to be on the Nintendo Switch 2 for quite some time now. In fact, there was talk of it coming over even before the console was released. We've also seen some ratings indicating that a port was coming. Despite all of that, there's been no official announcement on Diablo 4, but it is very likely that Diablo 4 is coming over to the system. Now, I did purchase Diablo 4 on the PlayStation 5 for $20, I think a year or so ago, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I think I'm just not as much into the Western, RPG, this style, so it's just really not for me. And I think that at $70, it's definitely not going to be for me, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it for other people. That doesn't mean the game isn't quality or the game doesn't have enough content to fulfill that, and especially anywhere that you want. If you don't already have like a handheld PC that you can play the game on, or Xbox or PlayStation that you like to play the game on, I think a Switch 2 version would be nice. But I think the biggest thing with this is just getting the game on the system and then later getting a price drop, because we already know that there's going to be some type of digital sale or deal where you're going to be able to get it for like 20 or 30 bucks in probably about half a year or so, or maybe even less. We'll see about that. So I don't recommend buying it as a code in a box for 70. That's a little bit much. Not even a game key card, so I don't know about all that. But I do think that just getting it on the system is nice for those who don't care about having an actual physical and don't mind playing it. And it's the type of game that there's always constant updates and things being added in, so I guess a digital copy might make more sense for this type of game with the seasons and everything that they do and the new characters and all the stuff being added in. It's almost kind of like a live service type of deal and the different type of things that Diablo does. So maybe it's even better as a digital game. But yeah, me personally, after playing it, I would wait for a sale on the Switch 2 unless you're a super fan of it and want that portable mode, or at least wait to see how many more features they have. Do they have like cross-save progression and all that different type of stuff? So it might be worth it if you already have a file over there and you want to just go back and forth between it. But for me right now, it's going to be wait for a sale on this game when it comes to that, or wait for the reviews to see exactly how good it is on the Nintendo Switch 2. But speaking of Gamescom, we've got to talk about Nintendo's lineup there, because we have the official confirmation of multiple big third-party games and some first-party titles that Nintendo's going to be showing off and demoing at Gamescom, so we can get new footage, more details, release dates for certain games, and there's a few games on this list that I know that you guys are going to be excited about. So Gamescom takes place in Germany from August 26th through August 30th. Nintendo Switch Sports Resort's going to be there. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 running on the Nintendo Switch 2, that's going to be there. Orbitals, which I'm very much looking forward to. That game is going to be a ton of fun. It's been shown off multiple other times, but it's releasing September 3rd. I've got a physical copy ready to go for that game. 007 first light. This will be the first time that we see the footage of the game on the Nintendo Switch 2 running, and I'm guessing we will have a release date. They did state the end of summer, so if they are confident enough now to finally have this game demoed at Gamescom, because remember, you can play the games. He says play these games and more at our booth in Hall 9. I do think that it will be ready to go. Minecraft Dungeons 2. FC 27, Splatoon Raiders, phenomenal game. If you haven't checked out Splatoon Raiders yet, I highly recommend Splatoon Raiders. It's one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch 2. There's also Pokemon Pocopia, the expansion pass, the Bubbly Basin. I've been wanting to cover this, but this Bubbly Basin is awesome. What they've done here is really cool, but I'd even say, even if you don't get the expansion pass, the 2.0 update is incredible. It adds a bunch of highly requested quality of life features, like being able to appraise multiple relics at a time, being able to mass move things out of your box, like really, I would say, time-consuming, tedious things that were in the game now are so much more easier and convenient with the 2.0 update. So that is awesome. And another game that I really want to see on the Switch 2, just because I love this game. It was my game of the year for 2024, and that's Metaphor ReFantazio. That's a November release for the game, so let's see how it runs. 60 FPS, how's that going? Frame rate drops, what's going on with that? How smooth or not is the Switch 2 version of Metaphor ReFantazio? Because if it's a good version of the game, I do feel that people are going to pick it up on the Switch 2 because it is a dream portable style of game. So for me at least, I'm looking forward to a number of these games just to see how they run and look on the Nintendo Switch 2. Gamescom, Nintendo's back there. They've got some stuff. They've got some big third-party games. They've got a few different first-party games you can check out, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun for people there playing and picking up the games. We've heard good things from Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, from IGN, and other people that have got a chance to play it. I think at the San Diego Comic-Con, people felt that it was pretty fun with a lot of the games. So yeah, it's looking good so far for the big third-party titles and some big first-party stuff, and we still have, probably September, Nintendo Direct, Legend of Zelda. I do think something's coming up here. Just got a big information dump on Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, so I definitely recommend you guys to check out my previous videos that I've done on Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, where I go over a bunch of cool details with the game and stuff that Nintendo didn't even state in their presentation. So check that video out when you get the opportunity. But thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.